waits to get the charging instructions, and also someone who is inside the courtroom with quite a story to share. As always, so pleased to have Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School and author of Get Trump, Alan Dershowitz. Sir, welcome in. I know you wrote an article, a piece about what you saw with your own eyes. We talk a lot in this program that we need to have cameras in the courtroom, and you're saying this is exactly why. So please set the scene. You say that Merchan is an absolute tyrant.
When nobody's in the courtroom, when he throws the journalists out and when he throws the jury out, his true self comes to the fore. And, you know, he reminded me of the movie Taxi Driver, who said, "You looking at me? You looking at me?" He says to the witness, English lawyer, "If you ever look at me again, if you ever bat your eyes again, I will strike all your testimony," which doesn't hurt the witness, hurt Donald Trump. It was the main witness contesting the accuracy and truthfulness of the statements made by the strongest opponent, Michael Cohen. The idea that the judge would threaten to strike the defense because he didn't like the way the witness looked at him, I've never seen anything like that. I've been in courtrooms in China, in Russia, in England, in Italy, in Israel. I've never quite seen a judge.
That's incredible. It harkens back to a few weeks ago when Donald Trump made a gesture or something when Stormy Daniels was on the stand. He kind of said, "Well, you're threatening a gag order." I mean, how can an expression as a human, like you said, raising an eyebrow, raised to that, tantamount to something like striking an entire testimony? But what I want to ask you is, you have been in a lot of courtrooms, as you just said, all over the world. So is there something off with Judge Juan Merchan? I mean, if he's two different people, is there are you saying that there might be some type of psychosis?
Oh, no, I would never judge nobody. I'm just a terrible judge, making terrible, terrible rulings and showing extreme bias, particularly when the media isn't there. This is why you're 100% right. Every trial in America should, by the way, they say, "Oh, cameras in the courtroom will be." There are cameras in this courtroom. It is being transmitted to the overflow room. When you're in the courtroom and you can't see something, it's on television. So the question is not whether it should be televised. The question is whether the television should be available to the general public. And of course it should. What is Judge Merchan hiding? What doesn't he want the public to see? What doesn't the prosecution want the public to see? Why do we have this trial televised so that we can make our own judgment about the credibility of witnesses and about the lack of bias or bias of the judge?
And clearly then there'd maybe be more consistency with how he behaves. He wouldn't behave one way in front of the jury, one way otherwise. And you write, sunlight is the best disinfectant, as Justice Louis Brandeis said a century ago. But here we are in uncharted waters. Michael Cohen, as you talked about, Costello was talking about his disbelief of what he said. We know he stole from the Trump organization. So, you know, this jury now, Professor Dershowitz, is off. They're not supposed to read. They're not supposed to watch things. They're not supposed to talk. We're going into a long holiday weekend. And then they get these charging instructions. How can they not talk about things? I mean, it's human nature.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Of course they'll talk about this thing. They shouldn't have taken today off and tomorrow off and Friday off. Yeah, I take Monday off. It's a holiday. But this case could have been sent to the jury before the weekend. And I just don't understand the judge's thinking. I think that helped having a long delay. At the end of the trial, what was fresh in the jury's mind was the defense case. And
That's
so
right.
Now they wanted to go into a distant memory. Look, any rational person would understand that not only was Cohen lying before, but he was lying right to us. You could just see it. He said, "I have no financial interest in the outcome of this case." He's trying to get a television show on the air, The Fixer. He's trying to sell a book. He's trying to sell pictures and T-shirts of Donald Trump behind bars. You don't think he would benefit financially by a conviction here? Of course he should. And then he swore under oath that he would never accept a pardon from President Trump. He had told his lawyer he would do anything to avoid going to prison. He would lie, he would cheat, but he wouldn't accept a pardon from Trump. You know, if you believe that, bridge not far from the courthouse, I'd be happy to tell you.